everybody! Welcome to another episode of Slot Speak. We have our guest Home Slots Fun. How are you doing?
Hey everybody, how you doing? Glad you could join us.
Same here. Hey TL Slots. I can't wait to watch your live stream on Friday. And I'm curious, as we wait for people to come on into the chat, I am wondering how have things been going for you?
Sorry, say that again, Simon. I had the YouTube thing going. It was playing what I was saying. So say that again. Sorry.
How have things been going for you?
Oh, really well, actually. I've gotten, since the last time we did this, I've gotten all new machines in here. And that's kind of what happens with what I do. They come and go often. People interested in buying them, so I sell them, and then I use that money to buy another one, and it's a never-ending cycle. It's fun.
Yep. I definitely after college went into that never-ending cycle of machines.
It's funny because, just a quick story, the first machine that I bought was probably 6 years ago, and it was the S2000 Triple Diamond, and the guy I bought it from was probably about 2 hours from here, and he's the guy that got me started on all this, and we've become very good friends. And every time I go up to see him, I'm like, well, I wanted to give you this because, you got me started in this and all that. He's like, I'm sorry. He's always apologizing for getting me into this because it's a hobby that you just can't give up. Not easily, anyway.
It's like potato chips. Once you start the bag, you don't
That's true.
Of it.
That's certainly true, and it drives the wife crazy because the first rule she had is one machine, and I'm like, can I please have just two more? Like three, I'll never need more than three. And now I have 5 in here, and I've got 6 behind me in the garage that I swap out. So it just happens.
Yep. My mama says that if I want another machine, I got to get the heck out of Dodge. I'm at 4 machines. I'm at 5 machines. I'm trying to push for machine number 6.
Now you just got to start sneaking them in there so she doesn't see them.
How do you sneak? How would you recommend sneaking a machine in here?
To have somebody take her out to dinner, and then you can do it.
Smart.
And then put a blanket over it so she can't see it.
Yep. I just make it look like part of my wardrobe.
There you go.
Yes, so I do want to say hi to your Ames TC to Slot Drop. And I'm curious, I do know that there's definitely some questions we want to cover and some things that we do want to cover. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the slot machine tips videos that you've been seeing on YouTube? We will not name names, but there's definitely been some videos on YouTube, along with some stuff on the online forums that talk about winning slot machine strategies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of. Let me give you my position on all that. So, I used to be a gambler. I'm not anymore. I got into trouble with slot machines. I won't get into the details, but let's just say it wasn't pretty, and I decided to leave playing slot machines for real money. And so that started the hobby of me getting the machines in here, learning how they work, how to program them to a point, but also just the ins and outs and understanding how they really work. I play these things to death, and I can tell you right now, there's no crazy patterns or cycles or anything like that you've heard a lot of recently. They are still a machine of luck. They're based on a random number generator. Yes, they have to give you wins sometime, because if they don't give you wins, nobody's going to play them, right? That's how they work. They have to pay you something every now and then. But to be able to say that you can see patterns, or that a win is coming up because it hasn't paid in a while. You guys have heard all of these. If it doesn't pay within the first 5 spins, it's a bad machine. You should get up and move to the next one. There's stuff like you shouldn't put your money in a machine, expect to get a payout right away, and if you don't, you should probably bail, like I just said with the 5 spin method. Some other things like that. But anyway, there's so many. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, this is a long answer here, but you just got to be careful with what you're listening to or what you're reading. Out of all the different kinds of hobbies that I'm in, the thing that probably bothers me, or I guess personally affects me, is when I read something that is incorrect or misleading about a slot machine and how it works, and then I turn around and see somebody post a comment saying, "Hey, I'm going to try that this weekend. I want to take out an extra $200 from the ATM and go do your suggestions and see if it works out." That personally affects me, because people are actually spending their money on doing something that they heard somebody else say that isn't necessarily true. So you just have to be careful. Remember that these machines are based on luck. If you want to play skill-based casino games, that's your table games like blackjack and, not really roulette. That's kind of random luck too, but craps and all those you have an edge, because there's actually knowledge and there's a strategy. Video poker is another one. There's strategy to increase your odds, but with the slot machine, there's no strategy to increase your odds. You just have to be sitting there at the right moment and the right time and pushing that button at the right time to get your win or to get your loss, which is most likely what's going to happen. So
definitely. And there was like this one thing. There's like one thing that really did make me sad. I was going through a comment section. This is definitely just not any like dissing anybody, but there's like this one comment that says like, I'm going to try that. I'm going to take out like what you were saying about that comment. I do remember seeing some little comment where somebody's like, I'm going to try to up my bet to $5 this week to see if Dragon Link pays that more.
Right. Yeah. Here, let me address that real quick. So it is true. It is true that the higher the denomination that you play, the better your payback percentage is overall. That's not a fact. It's just typically how casinos set things up, right? They want to, entice the higher players to come back and play more. And so when you're betting more, the payback percentage is a little bit higher than it is on, say, pennies or nickels. But the one thing I want to say about payback percentage is that, and that's a big topic that lots of people talk about, is payback percentage. Well, this machine's probably set at 94%, and then this one's set at 90%. Well, that is over millions and millions and millions of spins, the entire lifetime of that machine. So you're not going to notice as a human being a difference between 90 and 94% while you're playing. The most important thing that you should be doing is only playing within your means. So if you typically go to the casino with $100 and you say, you know what, I heard somewhere on YouTube that I should play a $5 machine because it's more likely I'll get a hand pay from that. Well, it's probably more likely you're going to get a hand pay from that because you've upped your bet. If you win $100 on a $5 bet, that's 20 times your bet. If you win $20 on a $1 bet, that's 20 times your bet. So it's all relative. You got to keep that in mind. Another comment that I saw, and this always cracks me up, or says, I used to play penny machines all the time and I would never get a hand pay. So I started betting $25 a spin and I got my first hand pay. It was amazing. Well, of course you did, because you're betting $25, you're closer to that $1,200 jackpot than you are from a penny. It's all relative. And so one of the worst things you can do is go in there with the idea that if you're going to spend more, you're going to get a bigger return on your money. That's not necessarily the case. In fact, most of the time, your money's going to go a lot faster.
Yep.
Now, if you have the bankroll to play $5, $10, $25, then go for it, because your odds are pretty good. They're better than sitting at a penny machine. But if you can't afford it, don't do it. It's not going to be worth it. You'll be out of there within 2 minutes, and that won't be fun.
Not at all. And also, I do remember there's this time that I was playing Pegasus. I was at home playing on this machine behind me, and I was doing, at the end of the live stream, I was doing $100 spins within the span of 10 minutes. I was down $2,600 on this machine alone, because I did have this misconception that if I bet big and if I did like high rolling spins, I would be guaranteed a $10,000 jackpot, which was extremely wrong.
Right. Yeah, and here's the thing. If you want to play slot machines, you need to play it for fun. You don't need to play it to try to get rich or to chase your losses from, let's say you had a bad run in a blackjack table and you're like, you know what, I want to spend the next $200 or $300 on a $25 slot machine, see if I can get it back. That's a dangerous proposition. That's not something that you necessarily really want to do. The thing with slot machines is that, you're going to lose more often than you're going to win. I think most people know that and understand that. But there's no secret or science to, spotting when what the specific machine is going to be better than others. Um, One thing we will talk about, and I'll save this for later because of the announcement we're going to do, Simon, but volatility is a very big topic with slot machines. And that is one area where you can actually, I guess you could look at slot machines and determine what is the best thing for you to play based on the bankroll and how much you want to spend. Volatility comes into play when it's about, is this a machine that's going to pay you quick and often, or is this a machine that's going to pay you rare but bigger amounts? And that's a big topic, so we're going to save that for later. But um, that's just something to keep in mind.
Yes, and also the slot drop is asking, do you work on video slots or only 3 reels?
Both. I used to only work on 3 reels, but that's kind of impossible because a lot of things are going video these days. So
Yep.
I've got both.
Do you by chance still have your double, triple diamond deluxe with cheese?
I don't. I sold it.
Oh,
It's gone. And then I had another one here, and that one's gone also. So
dang.
they don't stay. The Lord of the Rings is probably going to stay because it was really hard to find. But that's the unfortunate side effect when you personally own your machines and you're not playing for real money, is you do kind of get bored of them after a while, and you want something new. And so they come and go. The Diamond Deluxe with cheese is just sitting there gathering dust, and I hate that. And it went to somebody in Florida that really is getting a kick out of it. So that makes me happy.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yep.
That's actually a machine I really want someday. Is a triple double diamond deluxe with cheese.
It's a fun game, fun bonus. Just wasn't for me. I'm more of a top dollar kind of person, so that's what I'm always trying to get.
Sweet. Psych. I'm curious, is there a machine that you really want but still can't find?
Ooh. Well, that's tough. I'm having a hard time finding a pinball. I did have a pinball in here at one point. It was the old S Plus, which was the coin, like the original IGT machines, the S Plus machines. It was pretty beat up, and I just restored it and ended up selling it. Probably would have rather just kept that one because I haven't found a pinball since. Those are really difficult to find. I've got a list of 12 people that want a top dollar or a pinball, and it's the list keeps growing, and I can't seem to find them for good pricing. They're just really difficult ones to find. So I'd like to get a pinball. I would like to get a Wheel of Fortune, but it's not legal to own those, because they're licensed by IGT. So I don't want to even try to get one of those. I've had the opportunity to get one in here. They're very expensive, 8,000 to 9,000 starting. But I don't want the risk, and I'll probably get bored of it anyway. And it's too difficult to sell because you can't just go publish it on eBay or something. So I can't really think of the only other one I'd always wanted that I've never found is the original Walking Dead on Aristocrat. The one with the bonus wheel. That one's just a lot of fun. I enjoy playing that one a lot in casinos when that one was around back then. But I haven't seen that since I stopped playing slots. So
it's crazy. It's crazy just how elusive and difficult license machines are to find. And I also find it crazy that I also find it really crazy just how well top dollar and pinball machines are.
They're very sought after, and casinos still want them. And so because of that, they're holding on to them. I was in Vegas with a friend, I guess back in November. I still go to Vegas because I love Vegas. Just the atmosphere, the food. There's a pinball museum there that I absolutely love going to. Red Rocks Canyon's there, so we go hiking. I love Vegas, but I just don't gamble. But the one thing that I still see in all the high limit areas is just pinball and top dollars everywhere. That's 2000s. And so because casinos aren't getting rid of them, they're very rare on the open market. And because they're rare, the pricing is pretty high. And it continues to go high. I've had a double top dollar in here twice. And both times they cost me between $3,000 and $4,000 to get.
Wow.
And I turned around and sold them for a little bit more than that. So I got some enjoyment out of it and made some money on it, but still they're hard to find. And I have a problem just holding on to things. So it looks like Simon dropped off. So let me go to the chat here. The slot drop. Have an idea on how the major on link games work? Does RNG select the amount at which we'll pay behind the scenes? Well, the major starts at a certain amount, so all the jackpots are set to start at a certain amount and then grow by a certain percentage. Basically, a certain percentage of the bets that are going into the machine or the bank of machines. And that percentage is usually pretty low. That's why you see the number like crawl up as soon as you hit the bet max button. It's because every time you put $3 in, a certain percentage of that goes to feeding those jackpots. Then there's a cap, so it can only go up to a certain amount. But most jackpots, and this is another thing I heard on the slot channel, a jackpot can reach the maximum. And if the jackpot reaches the maximum, it doesn't mean that it has to hit right away, unless on the glass itself it says the jackpot must hit before it reaches 45,000, for example. If it says that in clear writing, then yes, that's true. But if not, the jackpot can crawl all the way up to whatever the limit is, 50,000, and then just sit there forever until somebody hits it. But the random number generator, when it comes to selecting, I kind of see what maybe you're asking about the actual bonus where you're picking, to determine, well, those are the balls. The lightning link is the balls that fall down. That's just the luck. I mean, you have the major jackpot land, you're in good, you're lucky.
Yes. So I'm curious on Dragon Link and Lightning Link, by chance, do you know?
Yeah, that's Simon. That's the one I just addressed. I saw you bounce off, so we're good. Yep.
ID psych. I'm curious, I'm not sure if you addressed this part yet, but I'm curious, is the ball bonus predetermined?
The ball bonus isn't predetermined. It's just like any other bonus that you have where you have, amounts falling. You have a random number generator that determines what the next spin is going to be, and that'll determine which balls drop. So it's all percentage based. Most of the time you usually get the little small ones like the 100 and 200, and every now and then you'll hit a major fall down or something. That's just because you got lucky. And it's the same as if you were playing a Megabucks machine and you hit a progressive on that.
Yes, for some reason, I thought the bonus was predetermined before you hit the spin button and that the balls were just decorations.
Well, everything is decorations with slot machines.
They are.
Slot machines are pretty dumb. If you think about how the random number generator works, constantly, like these machines sitting behind me, they are constantly every millisecond generating a new number, and it's just a string of numbers, 6, 7, 6, 3, 5, 2, 5, 3, 9, whatever. When I hit that spin button, it stops and it picks that number up, and then it goes into a lookup table and it says, does that belong to a win? If so, how much is that win? And then it says, okay, what kind of combinations can I give the player that would equate to that win? And they have some programmed in there. So it could be, if you're going to win 10 credits, you can get 2 cherries, or you can get a cherry and a double diamond. There's different pays that it'll do to show you that. But by the time you hit the spin button, your fate is sealed. It already knows if you're going to be a winner or not.
My slot machine behind me says Yeppos. And
Yeppers is right.
I do know that I do anthropomorphize my slot machines, which I do find a lot of fun. And also, I not realize that the slot machine would actually match the number to the pay, like what combination give you. Instead, I thought the number represented a pay.
No, it's basically I wish I could show you that, but I don't have a machine. The S2000s, you can actually see this. You can see the physical stop numbers, and what that means is that each reel has a physical stop number. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 probably equates to cherry, cherry, cherry. Where 0, 2, 0, 1, 0, 1 is a blank, and then a cherry, cherry. And so what that number is doing when it's generating and it spits out that number, it goes and says, okay, is that a win? Yes or no? If it is, how much? And then it says, make the physical stop 2, 1, 1. And then that's what tells the reels where to land whenever they stop. S2000s you can actually look up and see. I think on the G23 you can do that as well. Maybe eventually I'll do a video on that. Yeah, there you go. I'll show you how to do that later, Simon, so you can see what the physical stops are.
That'd be so amazing. I don't know how to do that quite yet.
It's pretty simple.
That's good to know. We do have a few questions in the chat.
Yep, go for it.
Blue Line Slots is asking, I usually read the percentage on the win rate of the Gaming Commission website.
Yeah. So many states, especially if they're state-run casinos, like Las Vegas, New Jersey, you can actually go and look on the website. There's also a really good resource, American Casino Guide. They post those as well. You can go on there and see the percentages for each of the different casinos, for each denomination amount as well. I think that's useful information, but it's nothing to get too excited about, because remember, those percentages are nice, but they're over millions and millions of spins. So just because you see one casino is 0.5% higher than the other, it doesn't mean by going to that casino you're guaranteed to win more than the other casino. It just, you may or you may not.
That is a really good point, and it's really easy to, and to me personally, I find that it's really easy for me to lose sight of the fact that is like what you said earlier, is like that's over millions of spins, and that's like over like a bunch of machines. So that makes it so like when I think about it even more, I don't think that number would personally would influence my choice for the casino. And also I do find like shoot down at that train station. I do feel that I do feel that another major misconception that I start up is when a casino has a sign that says pays out 99% slot machines.
Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way: if you had a bank of machines where it says payback is 99%, and then you had a bank of machines next to it that didn't say that, I would still play the ones with the 99%. But just don't expect things to always go your way just because of that advertisement. There's still slot machines. The casino is still going to make money off of them. And just because there's 99% payback doesn't mean that if you put $1 in, you're going to get 99 cents back guaranteed. It's nowhere near that. In fact, most likely you're going to put $1 in, you're going to lose it all, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, I thought this was 99%. Why did I lose it all? It's because of millions and millions of spins. Like, it'll balance out eventually, but it's not something that you'll ever as a human being realize or notice.
Definitely. And also Casino Lady Slots is asking, someone told me that I should play the highest denomination at the lowest bet. Is there any reason why that would lead to a bigger win?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So let me just go ahead and give a scenario, because I think I know what you're asking. So let's say that you're playing a $5 machine that's 2 credits, and then there's a $10 machine next to it that's 1 credit. Which would be the better to play? From a percentage payback percentage, the 1 credit at $10 would be the better one to play, because in general, the percentages of the payback percentages are higher for the higher denomination you go. It doesn't matter what your bet is. The machine doesn't care what your bet is. So if it's 1 credit, 2 credit, 5 credits, none of that matters. So it's just about, if you plan on playing $10 a spin, regardless, and there's a penny machine that you can bet 1,000 credits on, which is $10, and there's a $10 machine next to it that you can play 1 credit, I play the $10 machine. But again, I have to say it over and over and over again. That does not guarantee you anything. It's just saying that you have a little bit better percentage of getting a better return than you do on the penny machine. But again, it's not something that's guaranteed or something that you're going to notice right away. Because you could very easily do a side-by-side comparison and go play $100 in the $10 machine and then go play $100 in the penny machine, betting the same amount. And sometimes you'll win on the penny machine and sometimes you'll win on the $10 machine. It's just, if you had to choose between them, go with the higher denomination, the lower bet.
Yes, I also do want to add on to that. When I set the payout percentages for my WMS Blue Board, sometimes like on certain games, the payout percentages go up by a few decimals every time every time you increase the bet. You can set the payout percentages slightly higher as you go, but that's not always the case, because I realized that you still have the same percentage options as if you were to set the machine to add a $5 denomination. You could set it to 95%, and the casino could set the machine at the exact same percentage on a penny denomination. That's something I just realized as I was like setting up denominations on my blue board.
Yeah, that's true. They don't do that as much anymore, but there are certain games where that is definitely true. Yeah. Casino Lady Slot says the only guarantee is that the casino has an advantage. You got it. That sums all of this up, really.
Yeah.
They have an advantage, but they want you to have fun, right? Like here's the thing. Like, people get caught up with payback percentages a lot, and they're afraid to go to a casino that has a low payback percentage on average, say that they found online, than another casino. It's in the casino's best interest to make people win. Slot machines, are not profitable in the long run, but they can be profitable in the short run. And that's how they entice people to come back and keep playing the things. I mean, that's how it works. Nobody would have any fun if you went into a casino and every slot machine took your money and you never got any win.
Yep.
So they have to have it give back some. But when it comes down to deciding, what machine to play, I think the biggest concern you should have is your bankroll and how much you're willing to spend, rather than get caught up in all of this payback percentage and, you should play the machine that's at the end of the row and, stuff like that. It just, play what you're comfortable playing. The only exception to that, and again, we'll talk about volatility later. Maybe we'll talk about it during this live stream because it's going to keep coming up. But that's the one time where it could make a bit of a difference anyway.
Yes, so Gordy Slots does want to add, so fast taps will not determine the win since it's all predetermined.
That's right. So whether you wait for the reels to do their thing, their animation, or you do the fast stop, it's the same result either way. There's no difference. Yep. It's already decided what it's going to show you the moment you press that button.
Yep, and skill stop is a giant illusion.
Yes.
All right, so we do have another question from Paul. Hey, Simon, do you believe that casinos give a player a taste of a win when they initially sit down to play?
Yeah, I've heard this a lot too. They're not programmed to do that, but what they're programmed to do is to give you wins over time, and most of them just happen to be small. If you think about, sitting down and let's say that you play 30 minutes on a machine, what's the most likely thing that you're going to get? Your bet back. A cherry, mixed bars, it's heavily weighted to give you lower amounts. It's just like when you spin the wheel on Wheel of Fortune. It always lands on 25, 35, 40. Every now and then you'll get the 1,000. Every now and then you'll get the 100. But most often you will get a small amount. And that's just how they work. It's not programmed to purposely give you a taste or anything right away. It may happen or it may not. It's just more likely to happen because you have to win at some point. But they'd rather just pay you a smaller win than the big jackpot that you're looking for.
Yep, and also something else that Slot Drop Mark did bring up. I know I'm kind of jumping back
That's okay.
a little bit. Yeah, he says that Gordy Slots fast tap changes your timing that you push the spin button. That's why it works sometimes.
I wouldn't say it works. It happened to work. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a strategy. Like, by tapping it fast, you're not, you might get a bonus faster, but you're also spending money faster. There's no relation to betting faster is going to give you a bigger win. There's no relation there. But what that does do is just accelerate your play and make it faster. So it does work sometimes because you just end up getting the bonus quicker because you're running your money through faster. So,
or like when you fast tap, you run through more numbers quicker.
Yeah, if you want, I've seen some people. I've witnessed it where I've never seen, like, they do the double tap on the lightning link, and it's just wow. I mean, I look at that and I'm like, that doesn't even seem exciting to me. Like, it seems like you just watch your money just go down. But hey, if it makes you get to the bonus faster and that makes you happy, go for it.
Yes. And our Right B Fly SD is asking, is that an actual rule that higher denominations will always have a more payback?
It's not a rule in the sense that it's a law, but it's a general understanding and rule that casinos all seem to practice. And that's verified by the numbers that are required to be reported to the state by the State Gaming Commission. And you can go and view those, and you'll see that on average, the higher the denomination you go up, the better the payback percentage is. So no, it's not guaranteed by any means, but that's generally how casinos lay it out.
That is really good to know. And I actually do want to do a video where I set my blue bolt slot machine to the higher denomination, the higher payout percentage. I definitely do want to try that just to see what happens.
You won't notice anything.
Oh yeah.
Let me give you a perfect example. So I have a top dollar machine over here, and I had it set to $100 denomination, 98% payback. And I did 3 10-minute sessions. And 2 of those sessions, I didn't get the bonus once, and I lost my money within several minutes. The 3rd session, I got the bonus 4 times and, had multiple jackpots and stuff. And it's not because it was due. It's just because I just had the right timing when I hit that button, and it made the result that it did. But you're not going to notice that. Like I'm only a human. I can't do 3 million spins on this top dollar to prove that, the percentage balances out over the lifetime of the machine. It just does. That's how it works. So
that's really good to know. It is so easy to forget that. And hey Juicy Jungle, hey everybody. Before I forget, hey Casino Lady Slots, Chris Panto, Blue Line Slot System, Randy the Slot Wizard, and Awesome Goldie is asking, what is your opinion on the maxed up major and the grands on Dragon Link? Avoid or test your luck. I asked, as some have been maxed up for months.
My rule of thumb, and this is just personally, is never play for a progressive. You're going to get the progressive and be shocked, and you're going to be excited, but I would not chase a progressive because they are just the most least likely thing to hit. And just because they've been maxed out forever doesn't mean that they're due anytime soon. We talked about this the last time we did this, but the famous Lion's Share machine at MGM Grand, was it called Lion's Share? Is that right,
yes,
Simon?
Lion's Share, I believe. Yeah,
Lion's Share. So this was a slot machine that was put into service like in the late 90s, I think it was. And the rule in Nevada is that once a progressive machine enters the floor, it cannot leave until that progressive is hit. Now, they probably had a whole bank of these machines, the Lion's Share. They probably had 20 or 30 of them. But this machine had to stay there until I think it was 2005. When was it? I don't remember. But it was on the floor for almost 20 years before that progressive was hit. It's the hardest thing to get. Just because it's maxed out doesn't mean it's coming soon. Just be really floored if you end up getting it when it's maxed out, because that's the best time that you would want to get it. Now, yes. I will make an exception here. If you do see a bank of machines and you see some of them have really small max progressives and one's capped out, absolutely play the one that has the highest progressive. Because if you do want to hit the progressive, you want to hit the one with the higher amount. I mean, that's, that's just common sense. So that's what I would do. Absolutely.
Yes. And also when I think about it, the progressive on random number generator scale, the machine is definitely weighted against progressives.
Yes. Every progressive machine, the base payback, now the payback percentage of the base game, excluding the actual progressives, is generally lower than if you were playing a machine that did not have a progressive. Because you have to remember that portion of your bet is being fed into that progressive every time you go. And so because of that, the percentage is usually lower. Here's a perfect example. I had a double top dollar in here, and the highest amount that I could set the payback percentage non-progressive was 98%. Yes. As soon as I added the progressive controller in there and set it up progressive, the highest I could do it was 92%. Oof. Because it's having to feed that progressive. So again, don't chase progressives. I can't say that strong enough. Like you're going to get lucky sometimes. You know, you see people hit progressives. I understand that, but progressives are the hardest thing to hit on a slot machine. And unless you have an infinite bankroll to go in there and say, I am confident I'm going to win that progressive, I would not do it. I would stick to just a base gameplay without the progressive. But you know, nowadays it's becoming harder and harder to find because you know every machine, especially the video reels, are linked to progressives,
Yep.
and that's just a fact of life. You know, so you can't really avoid it sometimes. But I know personally, if I were to go in and play, and I saw a machine that had a giant progressive next to it, and one next to it didn't have a progressive, I it depends on what I'm feeling, I guess, at the time. But I probably wouldn't play the one with the progressive, just because of that.
Yes. And also, like, Emmy is asking, how can you explain games like Cronk and Unleashed, the locket link squares, raise each spin, so several screens are predetermined? Does not seem RNG?
I'm not familiar with that, so I'm not going to say anything. The only thing I will say is just the way slot machines work in general is that when the RNG stops, there are here. Let me explain it this way. So everything that a slot machine shows you is all visual. You know, it would not be exciting or fun to play a slot machine, and when you push the button, it just shows this giant number on the screen and says, "You're a winner, $10." You know, that's not exciting. You know, so what they have to do is build these themes and these games around that to make you feel like, you know, it's exciting. It's more exciting. Number one, but number two, there's a lot of psychology that goes into, oh, I almost had it. I'm going to just keep going it. You know, just going to keep doing it. You know, because I almost had it. I almost landed the jackpot. That kind of stuff. In general, it's already determined before it even shows or paints anything on the screen. There are exceptions. I'm not going to say that's a blanket rule for everything. There are exceptions. For example, if you guys know the quick hits machines with the like the free games where you touch, you get the free games and you touch and you're trying to find 3 matches. This is kind of going into another topic, but I like to ramble, so here we go. The thing with the if you make your picks and then suddenly after it matches the 3, it reveals where everything else was, you were in control of that the entire time. But if you pick the 3 and then it doesn't reveal what was behind everything else, it was already predetermined. It didn't matter what you picked. It was going to give you what it was going to give you. So just keep that in mind when you watch those things. That's how you can kind of tell whether you really had control over your fate or not.
Yes. And also, I do want to add this. I'm not sure if this realization is true or false. And I'm curious, like, the more I think about it, is like if you pick 15 games, all 3 games, I do wonder if the amount of credits at the end is predetermined, but the amount of credit, like the machine displays the wins like differently. Like, for example, if you pick 3, end up picking 3 spins, you get more wins. If the machine was set to 20 credits as your payout, the machine would pay you actually 4 spins. Actually, I'm not talking 15 credits. The machine would pay you 5 credits to spin, but if you pick, the machine, I don't know if the machine happens. If the machine has the same amount of credits, like, say 15, and you get 15 free spins, you might get only 1 credit to spin. Is that true?
Well, this is a question that I've actually struggled with because I'm going to say I don't know for sure.
Okay.
The one thing that comes up a lot where people ask is, during a bonus round, let's say that you got the 3 symbols, which means you initiated the bonus. Does the machine already know at that time, before you do anything to start the bonus, what the end result is going to be? Initially, I thought that was true, where, whenever you're starting the bonus, it already knows that your end result is going to be $43.50. And then it will show you some free spins and it'll end up totaling that at the end. I'm not really sure about that, to be honest, because there's a lot of variables at play, right? There's machines where you can pick between more free spins and lower multiplier potentials. And then there's some that have, less free spins, but higher multiplier potential. There's probably multiple random number generators going in there. I can only speak to the ones that I've personally owned and know. Top Dollar is a perfect example. I'll give you something that I get asked all the time is, You know, if I passed up a good offer, is it going to punish me by giving me really crappy offers the rest of the time? And the answer is no. Every time you hit the try again button, it stops another random number generator and spits out what your next offer is going to be. A lot of people say, no, that's not true because I always get 15 credits on the last spin. Well, you just remembered that because you're like got burned by it, you know. But it's just as often that you're going to get the 15 credits on the first spin or on the first offer than you are on the last. I've hit the 1,000 credits on every single offer, first, second, third, and fourth. It doesn't matter. It's completely random on that. But these newer games with the bonuses, the video reels, I just can't. I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to tell you one way or another. I can just speak to what I know personally because I've owned them.
Yes, thank you so much for your honesty. And it's
Yep.
like and video machines, I can see why they can be so confusing and so convoluted. Also, Slot Drop Mark, thank you for the $5 super chat. Woo!
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
On the multi-denomination machine with different bet levels, let's say it's on the $1 denomination. Is there a difference between pressing $5 versus 25 credits?
Not if it's on the same denomination. Payback percentages are set on the denomination itself. So the difference would be between 5 credits and 25 credits is you'll notice the pay tables increase by that bet, like the amount. So that's 5 times. So if you're betting 5 credits and let's say you got 3 cherries, that would equate to 10 credits. But if you're betting, 25 credits and the 3 cherries, that would go up by 5. So that would be 50 credits. But the payback percentage is set on the denomination level, not on the number of credits.
Yes. Yes, and also TL slots, before I forget, is asking, is the specialty real slots or the newer slot machines?
Older ones. I can't stand the newer ones.
Uh,
I'm going to be totally honest. It's really sad that these old, like this Lord of the Rings behind me, Willy Wonka, I've got Willy Wonka 3-reel, Road to Emerald City, those kind of games. I'm sad that those are going away.
yeah.
I get people asking me all the time, where is that machine? I'm like, well, it's in my house, number one. Number two, I don't know if there's any still out there. I've heard that Cosmos still has one of these.
They do.
But I don't like the newer ones. Number one, they're too expensive for me to own. You're talking serious money to get any that have been on the casino floor in the last 5 years, $15,000 plus. And so they're not out on the market for people like me to buy. So the older machines are the ones that typically come through here. Cash or Crash Las Vegas Live. Old machines are best. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, but I also love when I get old WMS games on my blue board. I just love the crazy music, and I think as somebody else did say on this show, that it feels like that WMS had an entire orchestra of violinists.
They do have the best music. I will sit there and listen to the jackpot music for 30 minutes because it just sounds so cool.
Same.
I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that stuff, but WMS definitely has the best music, hands down.
Yes. And what I sometimes do is I go into the sound test menu and I put and I just like crank the music up and I just dance to it.
I'm guilty. I'm sorry, but I'm guilty. I do it too.
Hey, Shannon. And also,
sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
Right.
Go ahead, Simon.
And also, the Slot Drop says, okay, on top now, should we follow the best player suggestion on the screen?
That's if you want to or not. But here's the thing I'm going to tell you about the best play. The machine does not know anything you don't know. It doesn't know what's coming. It doesn't know what it gave you before. It's a fixed formula. So let me give you an example. Double top dollar. If the first offer is 50 credits or less, it's going to say try again. If the second offer is 45 credits or less, it's going to say try again. And then if the third offer is 40 credits or less, it's going to say try again. And it does that every single time. There's nothing that it knows beyond that.
Yes.
It's a fixed formula. Here's my suggestion. Go with your gut. But also, if you are not familiar or have experience with playing top dollar, I would always go with the suggestion. I've played so much top dollar. I've probably over thousands and thousands of bonus rounds, and I can tell you, a good offer can come at any time, and you don't know when that's going to be. But the general rule of thumb is like 45 credits or less. Take it, because top dollar is known to give you that brutal 10 credits, 15 credits, 20 credits. So,
Yep.
you know,
And Paul's asking. I totally forgot to see Paul's question, but he's asking, should I feed a machine?
what, carrots? I don't know.
I don't know.
Should you feed the machine money?
Yes, money, I think.
Yeah, if you want to feed it money, go for it. But again, back to the conversation we've had over and over today, only play with the money you can afford to lose. Slot machines are the absolute worst thing that you can play in a casino when it comes to getting your money back or even ahead. It can happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. It does. But if you're going in with the idea of not having fun playing slot machines and you want to go in there and make money and become rich, you're not playing for the right reasons, and slot machines will take your money. You should go in there and have fun, and the excitement that you possibly can run away with the big win is there. It can happen.
And also, like, before I forget, I'm curious, what do you consider to be the most dangerous out of everything, the top most dangerous misconception that people can that about slot machines?
That there is any kind of pattern or feeling or location or data that can tell you which machine is the right one to play because it's about to hit big. That myth has been going around forever. And the one thing I want to say is that if anybody is attaching money to those suggestions by offering books or tutorials or one-on-one sessions or anything like that, guys, you are funding their gambling addiction. I promise you. There's no secret to it, you know. And believe me, if they had the secret to slot machines, they wouldn't leave the casino. They would be in there nonstop, you know, using their strategies and their tips to become millionaires. But that doesn't happen, unfortunately. Not with slot machines. Now, blackjack and craps is a whole nother game. Poker, that's not even on the same playing field. Those you can actually be professional with and make money.
Yes.
The slot machines, there's nothing that is going to just, oh, I sat there and watched this guy and he fed like thousands in the machine and he didn't get a bonus once. So I'm going to wait for him to get up and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to get the bonus. I know it. You're not. You may, but it doesn't mean that you are. It can be as rotten to you as it was to the previous person.
Yep.
You just got to be there at the right time, and that's it. So please, if you're spending your money on slot machines, you know, don't fall for that stuff where people try to tell you that they know which machines are going to hit, or they can see patterns because, oh, this one is starting to pay a little bit more, so that means a big win is coming, or, oh boy, that double diamond symbol sure is coming out a lot. That means it's about to hit. All that stuff. And the reason people like spread that stuff is because it happened to them at one point in time, you know, and that's just something that happens in the slot machine world. You know, people will get a double diamond, and then nothing. And they're just like, oh, I almost hit the jackpot. Yeah, you almost did, but you're actually really far away, you know? But the thing that I don't want people to do is to read into anything that you see on YouTube or there are hundreds of books on Amazon where people are saying, here are the secrets to slot machines and here's how to win and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You can read them, but don't spend your money based off of that. You know, it's not worth it. You're either going to win or you're going to not on these machines, and you should keep it just like that. Focus on your bankroll, focus on having fun, and don't get crazy with it because it can turn dark. It can turn dark really fast with slot machines.
Definitely, and I do want to add to this. I did make a video where it was like I did make a video where I fed my double diamond slot. Not funny at all, but where I fed my double diamond slot machine $10,000, and it was gone within an hour. I do have a video, and that video is premiering next Wednesday on my channel.
Yep. That can happen. I've seen, like I said, here's another example. Over Christmas break, I had a family here, and we had a slot machine contest. So everybody started with $1,000, and we rotated around the room, everybody playing a machine. Um, Everything in here is set at maximum payback percentage, 98% or higher. At the end of it, nobody had more than $1,000, and the biggest winner happened to be me, and so they said it was rigged because I own the machines. But I came out with like $680. So that's just kind of proof positive that nobody got any big hits while we were playing for an hour and a half or however long we were playing. That's kind of your typical situation with slot machines. You're either going to hit it or you're not. And so I just want people to keep that in mind. If you're going to play, slot machines are a hell of a lot of fun. I enjoy it. That's why I own them, because I love playing them. I love the music. I love the lights. I love all that stuff. And casinos know that you love it too, and that's why it's 90% of the floor when you go into a casino, and that's a huge moneymaker for them. But just don't try to get serious with slot machines, is what I'm really trying to say.
Yes. And Baby Fly SC says, FYI, for those who don't know, certain games like Dragon Link games have different pay tables for free spins. 5 of a kind top numbers will pay a lot less on these.
Yes, I have seen that. In fact, on some of the video slots that I have on my IGT machine here is like that, where a cherry is typical. Well, not cherry's a bad example, but some symbol is 3 of those are 5 credits, but during the bonus rounds they're 2 credits because there's a lot of multipliers and stuff involved. So yeah, you can look at the pay table, and you should always look at the pay table. What drives me nuts is when I see people sit down at a top dollar machine or a pinball machine or a Wheel of Fortune machine, and they're betting 1 credit, and then they see the bonus symbol hit on the 3rd reel, and then they look up and nothing happens. They're like, well, why didn't I get the bonus? You have to bet max.
Yes.
It's on the glass. You should look at the glass. You should always know what you're playing before you spend money. And that's a perfect example. Rye B Fly SD. Look at the glass, understand the rules, know what you're getting into. I mean, it's not going to really make a difference, but at least you know what to expect. So you're not going nuts. Oh my God, I got 5 of a kind. You only pay me 50 cents. That doesn't make any sense. Well, that's how the bonus game is structured for that game.
It can definitely feel like a very mean trick, and there's like definitely times where I don't think I have any games that do this, where you think you're going to get something really big, but because like what you're saying about the bonus, all your bet, you get like absolutely nothing.
I've had plenty of $0 bonuses on these games. Some I spend 30 minutes getting it and then get 0, and it's just like
that's the village people party all over. You get so many poopos.
Yeah.
And Blue Line Slot says, I am pretty sure that I read on the Gaming Commission website here in Colorado that you have to pay out all progressives on each machine within 7 years. What do you know about this?
I've never heard that before, so I can't really comment on it.
Okay.
It's kind of surprising, to be honest. I think there might be some kind of loophole where they can say, well, it has to be hit in 7 years or they can remove it from the floor. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that.
Okay. And also, Blue Line Thoughts, I find it so cool that we're both in Colorado. Also, like, oh, hey, bestie. And then Blue Line's asking, if you win the highest jackpot on the Wheel of Fortune, do you have to wait since it's not owned by the casino?
No, it doesn't matter. But you are right. Wheel of Fortunes are not owned by the casino. They're owned by IGT because they hold the license to, I think Sony owns the license to Wheel of Fortune. So, but no, any huge jackpot, especially if it's a multi-link, multi-property jackpot, you're going to be waiting a while. They have to get a slot tech out there to verify the win. And I'll have a video on my channel coming up soon to show how they do that. They can see if there was any tampering going on. They basically have to validate the win. And when you're talking about that much money, of course, they're going to take their time.
Yes.
I've heard that Some of them actually bring in financial counselors because of the amount. That was one. They don't want people going crazy. I know the lottery system in many states does the same thing on gigantic jackpots. But it's not like you're waiting because they don't own the machine. It's on the floor. They're responsible to pay it. You know, it's that's what I know about it anyway. I don't think it's
Yes.
because they have to call up, you know, Pat Sajak and say, "Hey, this guy just won on a slot machine." You know, can we pay him?
And also does this conception that sometimes the reason they take so long to pay out the machine is that they're looking for like a way to like not pay you out, and all that the casino wants to somehow hide that money.
Yeah, there's been stories of that, and there's certainly I've seen stuff on YouTube before, or even like news channels where that has happened, where the machine malfunctions and shows something that it shouldn't have. That's very rare, especially nowadays. And they're so they're so computerized and linked and all that kind of stuff. But I think the casino is always in the player's favor for the most part, because you have to think of the bad press that they're going to get if they don't pay out. I mean, can you imagine somebody hitting the 3 Wheel of Fortune symbols, winning, 1.2 million, and then the casino turns around and says, "Oh, there was a power outage like 30 minutes before that, so we're not going to pay it."
Yep.
Their patronage would just drop because nobody would ever play there again. So it's in their best interest to pay out those jackpots, and believe me, they have the money.
They do, and especially if that person happens to be a social media influence, all heck would break loose.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Also, thank you, Gallivantis Spots, for the $5 super chat. Woo! Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. That's awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so let's see if there's any more questions.
Yeah, I was just looking.
Sorry.
Don't forget to max out your volume. Yeah, Raja's joking on that one, guys. And it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny. But people ask me that in all seriousness, and the volume doesn't have any, and he knows that. He's pulling your leg, guys. He's a joker. But I say you should always max out the volume because it's part of the experience. I watch a lot of slot machine videos on YouTube. Obviously, I love slot machines, and these people sit down on a machine that has no volume and they play it. I'm like, I would never. To me, it's part of the fun. Is the volume? It's loud. It's flashy, and when it's just silent. And I've seen top dollar videos where it doesn't. The volume's completely off, and it's like it just doesn't seem that much more fun to me.
Yes.
Yeah, max the volume out.
Sorry.
I said, yep, max the volume out.
Definitely.
Piss off your neighbors.
Yep. and for me, I love having the volume up because it gets me hyped and going, and it also blasts out the copyrighted music in the casino.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I see that happen a lot on a lot of YouTube videos where they have to put in, other stuff.
Yep. I also find it, and also does it, and Gaudi Slot says, and Casino Lady Slot says, tone the volume up, drown out the background music. I agree. The sounds are what is exciting about playing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I probably drive the wife crazy, and she's probably watching this too, so I'm gonna get in trouble later. But I probably drive her crazy with the volume on these things because I crank them up and it's loud and obnoxious, and well, that's part of the fun, that's why I do it.
Also, hey, Staffy Slot, and also, I do have to wait when all my family is at work to play my WMS Blue Board because these Bose speakers they can just blast the house apart.
Oh yeah. Yeah, wait till you get a BB2 cabinet.
Yes.
They're even louder.
It's going to get better.
So, yeah, it will.
Sorry, neighbors.
I
hope you're not listening.
What's going on over there? Is there a game room over there? What's going on?
Yeah. Yes, I'm curious. How much louder are BB2 cabinets in comparison to Blue Board 1 cabinets?
The subwoofer is much deeper.
Yes.
Yeah, it's They're both loud, but the subwoofer they put in the BB2 cabinet is much deeper. Sounds really good, really good. Probably some of the best. Now the blade, the BB3 blade, is even better than that.
Wow.
WMS knows what they're doing when it comes to sound. I got to tell you, the sounds, the music, they put a lot of emphasis on that on their games, and so it's a tragedy when they go into the casino and the slot techs just turn the volume off. It's like, what are you doing? It's part of the game.
It is, and as I said, and like that's the one thing I really love about WMS games is just how creative they are with the sound, and just like because they were a pinball company, they know how to really make the music crank, which I love.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Goldie Slots is asking, do you have a favorite casino in Vegas?
Well, I don't gamble, but I do go to Vegas, meet a friend. I have a friend in California that comes out and meets me, and we kind of just sit in the hotel and we play video games and we eat the food and do all the other stuff that you can experience in Vegas. I would have to say that my favorite casino there is New York, New York. I love the atmosphere there. It's an older casino. The rooms are kind of run down a little bit. They probably need to do a good, renovation. But there's just something about that casino I love. The food is outstanding. It's like New York style. My second favorite has to be Aria. And if we can afford it, we'll go to Aria every now and then. And we split a room basically, and it's a really nice facility. But I think New York's my favorite place to visit.
It really has a charm to it, and also I really hope you get. It's kind of random, but if a magical fairy was to grant me 3 wishes, these would be my 3 wishes: a Panda Magic Dragon machine, an Aristocrat machine, and a WMS Blue Board game loaded with a game chest.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yes.
You can get the game chest, but you got to have the BB3 CPU. Simon, I'm sorry, but that's expensive.
Dang it.
They're like $1,000 right now.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yep. There goes my third wish. Poof. So
I don't mean to wreck your.
I know.
Yeah, keep your hopes up. We got to keep this positive.
I got to start wiggling my teeth out so I can start asking the tooth fairy for things again.
God. Yeah, I'm toothless, but I get my WMS blooper.
Yeah. I bet they would require a mouthful of teeth for that blue ball.
Yeah, but I have my Aristocrat. Who cares?
Yep. Who cares?
Oh, the links we go to own these things. I get it.
Yes, definitely.
I get it. Do you think the odds are better on the Strip downtown or other local casinos? Well, you can actually look those up, like I was mentioning earlier. Simon, if you could, like on this video after post, I'll send you the link, and you can post it on as a pinned comment on this video. You can actually go and look and see what all the payback percentages were for the previous years for each of the casinos, and they have them categorized by the Strip, downtown, and then like local casinos. And in general, for payback percentages, the ones downtown, like Fremont Street, are higher. But again, I will say it again because I'm always going to say it, is that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a winner if you go play at Fremont. Enjoy the experience. It's different. They have a lot of older machines down there. That's why I would go down there, not because that's the best place to play slots, because the percentage is 3% higher than it is on the Strip. You're just not going to notice that unless you're there all the time. That's just how they work.
This is definitely and I do, and when I think about it, with all the I do think that because of like how long it takes how many spins it takes a machine to pay out, I do think that you do have like pretty much equal odds of winning and losing at every casino in Vegas.
I think so. I mean, in general, now the one thing I will say is that I would avoid tribal casinos if you can. And the reason is that they are not by law required to post their payback percentages. Plus, they are not required to have minimum payback percentages. Nevada, for example, I think it's 85% minimum. Don't quote me on that because I know You can look it up, but I don't know what it is exactly. It's somewhere in there. But I've read that like some of the casinos, like in New Mexico, the tribal casinos, it starts at 70%. Now,
Oof.
the difference between 70% and 95%, you will probably notice that. That's a big jump.
It
But
is.
anything between 90 and 94%, you're not going to really notice that, unless you play that machine for the long haul. You know, one thing I will say is, and this question comes up a lot, is like, well, how can it really be a random number generator if it has to fall within a percentage? And that is true. There is a random number generator, but where the percentage comes into play is where it lists what the wins are, like the actual amounts that you're going to win, and what it's going to display. And again, it's over a long period of time, so you're not, just because a machine has been losing for days and nobody's hit a jackpot on it, doesn't mean that it needs to start recycling back to paying again because it's getting too far away from its percentage. It is getting too far away from its percentage, but it's got a long time to make that
Yep.
up. And, slot machine manufacturers and casinos don't want to give players an edge on slot machines. And so they're purposely built that way so that you can't really spot when something's going to hit. That wouldn't be good for them.
Yep.
Right. So, just keep that in mind, that, yeah, the payback percentage does come into play with a random number generator, but it's over a really long period of time and not something that you'll ever, as a human being, be able to notice patterns. So don't think that when you're going in. It's really easy to, though. I mean, you sit in a machine and you lose and you lose and you lose, and you're like, screw it. So you get up, and then somebody else comes in, sits down, spins it once and gets the bonus and hits the hand pay. And you're like, I should have stayed there. I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to hit. They hit the button at the exact millisecond that they should have, and you probably wouldn't have hit it. In fact, I know for sure you wouldn't have hit it at the exact same millisecond. And that's how it determines the win, not because you just got burned by it and you fed thousands of dollars in there. So
definitely.
the white line. I've heard this story. So I'll read the question. So, who's your slots? I know I have a winning strategy when it comes in scratch off, and look for the white line. I've heard that. I subscribe to another guy down here. He's a guy in Texas that does scratch offs, and he's just a friend, and he posts a video every day, and people talk about the white line all the time, and it's funny. I mean, it's one of those things I just laugh at. Sometimes you're going to be a winner, and sometimes you're not, and it's just like flipping a coin. It's they're not going to purposely put any kind of like secrets in there that would give you some kind of edge on the scratch off. It's just not going to happen. It's not in their interest to do that. That's a good one, though.
Yes, that's a really good point. And also, I'm kind of distracted. Definitely listening to what you have to say. And all I can think about is the WMS Blue Board to Fairy.
That's right.
Paul's asking, should you feed a machine or walk away if it's not hitting?
That's a personal preference. That you shouldn't leave because you feel like the machine is purposely set to take your money at that given time. But I think, as a general rule, that means that you're not having fun, right? You're not getting wins. Your bankroll is depleting. It's probably a good time to get a change of scenery, cash out, and go to another machine.
Yeah.
Or you can stay and you could have a turn of luck. You don't really know. And that's really the thing to keep in mind. You don't know. But I would, if you're just losing your ass, if you're using your butt on the machine and, you're not getting any kind of wins, change the scenery, cash out, go play another machine, or go get some dinner and come back later, because you're not having fun, right? If the machine's not paying, you're not having fun. So try something else.
Horizon Slot says, do multi-denomination machines pay out according to what denomination you're playing? If someone loses $1,000 at the dollar bet, does somebody playing pennies have better odds because the $1 player lost?
All right, so there's two questions there. So the first thing is payback percentages are set on the denomination itself. So if it's a dollar and a penny, there's two difference. Sometimes you see like the older machines, they'll have like a little sticker you can push where it says dollar, $5, $10, $25. The manufacturer or the casino can set different percentages for each of those denominations. But that's not, it doesn't matter if you bet 1 credit, 5 credits, 20 credits on that denomination, same payback percentage. But again, like I just got through saying, you know, just because somebody was playing on the dollar version and they just fed a bunch of money in and didn't win, does that mean you should go back to the pennies and play $10, which equates to, you know, what the person was playing on the dollar denomination? No, that doesn't make any difference. In fact, in that scenario, again, always go with the highest denomination that you're comfortable with playing. And so if it's a difference between 1,000 credits on a penny machine and a single credit on a $10 machine, chances are that $10 machine has a higher payback percentage, and that would be the best thing that you could play.
Yes.
If you had to choose between them.
Yep. And also, like, I do know that it's like around the hour mark. So I'm curious, like, before we wrap things up, what would you like? I do hear that you have an announcement.
Yeah, so and something Simon and I are going to start doing is every Monday, and Simon, I don't remember what time we decided on, but what we're going to do is do a 30-minute session every single Monday where we just take a topic about slot machines and we discuss, you know, what it means to you, so that you have the right information when you're going in. We are not selling anything. We're not planning on selling anything. We just want to get good information into your hands so that when you're spending your money, that you're doing it wisely. And so there's plenty of topics, believe me. We could go on for years on this thing. But the first one that we wanted to talk about was volatility. I mentioned that. And so just a little sneak peek on what that means. A slot machine can have different volatility, and volatility simply means how do you want to have more wins with less amounts, or do you want to have fewer wins with higher amounts? And that can actually make impact on which machine that you decide to play. A perfect example is 10 times pay and 12 times pay. People will sit down with machines and spend $100 within 2 minutes and be like, this is the worst machine ever. It doesn't pay anything. Well, it's a very high volatile machine because the 12 times symbol is such a huge multiplier that any win that you have is going to be much bigger than just getting a cherry on a machine that, you know, is just like a double diamond. And so, you know, that can play. It depends on what you feel like you want to play at the time. If you feel like you want to go for the big one, play a high volatile machine. If you want to just kind of have some steady wins coming in so you're having fun, play one that's not so volatile. And that also comes into play with bonuses. Here's another perfect example, the difference between top dollar and pinball. Top dollar is a volatile machine. The bonuses come more frequently, but the bonuses are typically around 45 credits, 30 credits, 35 credits, etc. Pinball is a very difficult bonus to get. It doesn't happen as often as top dollar, but when you do get it, because you get 4 or 5 balls that are adding up and accumulating at the top, you know, your average bonus is raised to like 55, 75, 100 credits. And so you're getting a bigger win from it. But that's why it comes less often. You know, that's just the trade-off. And so it's up to you. I don't want to get too far into it because I'll sit here and talk for the first 30 minutes. So let's just leave it at that. That's a teaser. I'll go into more details about it on our Monday show. And you guys can ask me specific questions like which machines are the best to play, you know, based on what you're looking for, because I can make recommendations based off of that. So.
All right. So one last question from Sapphire Slot. I'm in Oklahoma, and the casinos here are native land. What would the percentage of winning like they do in Vegas?
You don't know. They don't publish any tribal property. They can if they want to, but they don't. And they're not bound by any kind of law to, you know, make that information public. So you don't know.
Yep.
So I can't even speculate. But a lot of the casinos in Oklahoma are class 2. machine casinos, well, they usually have a mix. If you're talking about, like say WinStar, the biggest one that's out there, they have both class 2 and class 3 machines. Class 2 are the bingo operated machines. And you're sitting at one of those because you'll see a bingo card somewhere on the machine. Those are a little bit different from a random number generator. You're basically playing bingo against the house. And the rule of thumb there is that the payout or the payback percentage is a little bit less on that than it is on a class 3 machine, where it's an individual RNG that's going, a random number generator that's going. So my rule of thumb is, if you have the option of playing at a tribal casino and a non-tribal casino, like a state-run facility, go with the state-run facility, because you know it's regulated well. You know that the payback percentages are published and they're public for you to view. So there's no chance of any kind of shady business going on. But I will say one thing. Again, casinos will not go too crazy with setting payback percentages too low, because people will stop coming.
Yep.
So they have to set it at a certain amount where it's like that fine balance where they're getting enough people winning that they entice them to come back, or to tell their friends, hey, I won this at WinStar, so let's go there. They have to do that. So they're going to be reasonable. They're not going to come in there and just set something at 30% and take all your money, because you'll stop going.
Yep.
So, it's not regulated, but that doesn't mean that they're out to screw you. It's just a different way that side of the business is handled.
Yes, and also, Casino Lady Slots is asking a good question too. What time Monday are you going live, in which channel?
That'll be your channel, Simon. And I don't remember what time we decided. I'm good anytime.
6. I think we
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And
Okay.
I think that because we're doing this episode tonight, that is going to be the following Monday.
Yeah, we'll skip tomorrow.
Right.
And the following Monday, we'll talk volatility in detail.
Yes.
How's that?
Sounds good. All right. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and also, hey, Gamma B Slots and Mom, I'm also really glad that you took. Oh, and I'm also really honored that you. Oh shoot! Darn it! Oh dang! I messed up that.
That's all right. Go for it.
Like, I really want to thank all of you for being here, and I also really want to thank Home Slots Fun for being an amazing, very informative guest tonight. I really appreciate hearing your information, and I'm looking forward to our Monday show starting the following Monday.
Sounds great.
And I'm also
thank you guys.
And also, before you forget, if you wish to see more of Home Slots Fun, definitely be sure to check out his channel. And link is in the description below. And I'm excited to hear all your questions for next Monday.
Sounds good. Thank you guys. Appreciate you coming.
See you around. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See y'all.